This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Respect on my name, that's Mando. Gang pull up in this old babe camo, whipping that truck like Lambo. I set the tempo, baby just shake like Tambo. Back in the day, used to want a bad little ting like Misa Campo. Whoa, whoa, you don't wanna play with them. I cook fire in the V1M. Just touched down to the 212, I'm lit. I'm off the hen, already on 10. Only want 10s and M's. Cross me once, I don't make amends. Chances, slim, some losses, more wins. Give me that, aim for the head, catch that crown on the top spot. Give me that, gang pull up, loud and clear in a ziplock. Give me that, just like my whip, she top off in a drop top. They say that the world is yours, I'ma need that and a whole lot. Give me that, aim for the head, catch that crown on the top spot. Give me that, gang pull up, loud and clear in a ziplock. Give me that, just like my whip, she top off in a drop top. They say
The following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you already know this because I think we talk about it almost like in a religious term. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios on this glorious May the 12th, which is Tuesday, just in case, of 2026. And as we are coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, we are also hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Or should I say you're being infiltrated by our friends over there at Radio Big. Maybe that's the way to really talk about it. You know what I love? I love when I forget to turn my my watch off and it starts doing all kinds of weird stuff in the middle of everything we got going on. So, anyways, how you been? How's the last 24 or so been for you? Good times, bad times, individual times, in between times? I don't know. I'm just asking to know because I always want to have a better understanding of the things that are going on inside of the multi. So a lot of people hanging out, a lot of people talking, a lot of people telling me about what the hell's going on over there at good old Safety FM. Apparently people are liking the new website. So thank you for the people that have went out there and taken a look around. It was definitely a love project as we were going through the whole thing. No doubt about that. We have tried to make that thing look so updated in regards of everything that's going on over there. So just in case if you were wondering, love what we were doing over there. So anyways, yeah, if you go over there, you'll see all kinds of interesting stuff. So where you want to hang out, if you want to get into callinradio.com or if you want to call into the studio, audio, video, and text messaging, just go to the hub, call the studio, boom, get you right there. And then everything else is listed there. Who's available, who's not available. Consulting services, everything is right there. Just had to check the people's individual availability, and boom, we're set to go. Yeah, we're set to go. A lot of stuff, which is always kind of a cool part. So if you're not familiar with what the hell we do around here, our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's essentially what we do. That is the whole thing. So outside of that, we bring in some professional broadcasters. They start talking about what the hell's going on. We kind of jump around, hang out with them, and see exactly what they have to say. And then we give you our rig. We give you our rigmarole of all the stuff that we see that's going on. And then kind of go, okay, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's not do this. and then kind of go from there. That's just the easiest way of doing it. And then kind of see exactly what happens. And that is it. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this. I do have my friends from Feature Story News ready to go. They're wanting to talk about what the hell's going on. So why don't we just go ahead and get into the news right now?
Here is the news on the Radio R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Brussels, I'm William Denslow. Keir Starmer's allies say he's determined to fight on, even as dozens of Labour Party MPs call on him to step aside. It's also reported several Labour cabinet ministers have suggested to the UK Prime Minister that he should set out a timetable for his departure. It follows disappointing local election results for Keir Starmer's Labour Party last week and a series of government missteps and controversies. But Chief Secretary to the Prime Minister Darren Jones says the government is getting on with the job.
He's not walking away. I recognise that colleagues will be worried off the back of the local elections last week, in particular those colleagues who represent those communities, and it's important that the Prime Minister engages with them and that we learn any lessons that we need to learn from our first 2 years in government to improve.
US health officials say 18 passengers from a cruise ship linked to the Hantavirus outbreak have now been flown back to the US and placed under monitoring. One passenger who tested positive for the rare virus strain is being treated in a biocontainment unit. Ira Spitzer has more.
U.S. officials say the passengers had been aboard the luxury expedition ship, the MV Hondius, which operates adventure cruises to Antarctica and South America, and has now been linked to an outbreak of the Andes virus, a rare hantavirus strain capable of limited person-to-person spread. 16 passengers are being monitored at the University of Nebraska Medical Center, while 2 others, including one showing symptoms, were taken to Emory University in Atlanta. Hantavirus can cause severe respiratory illness and, in some cases, be fatal. Still, officials say the risk to the public remains very low, stressing the virus does not spread easily.
US President Donald Trump has warned the ceasefire with Iran is on life support. It comes after Tehran sent its counter-proposal peace plan, something the US leader dismissed as garbage. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
Donald Trump in his latest comments expressed frustration, even anger, at a time when there were already concerns that diplomacy with Iran is faltering. The US president didn't rule out a deal, but his comments suggested that it's becoming harder by the day to get a deal done. He called Iran's counter-proposal stupid, a piece of garbage, weak, and said that Iran had not committed to not pursuing a nuclear weapon, that being a red line for the United States. And when asked about the ceasefire, he said it was still in effect, but warned that it was on life support, giving it just a 1% chance of survival.
And rising global oil prices amid Middle East tensions are driving up fuel costs in Pakistan, adding to inflammatory pressures in an economy reliant on a $7 billion loan program from the IMF. The country remains heavily dependent on Gulf oil imports via the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping route under increasing strain. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, with more today about life in Iran as the US and Israeli war on the country continues. We've been hearing from journalist Ali Hashem, who has just spent 50 days reporting from Tehran. He's a senior correspondent with Al Jazeera. He is Lebanese and has been watching Iranians adapt to months of war and economic uncertainty. He told Foreign Policy magazine that at points of heightened military threats to Iran, even many people who are normally critical of the country's governing regime rallied around the Iranian flag.
Many people decided that it's time to stand by their country, regardless of their point of view towards the system. They would say that whenever there is no war, we can protest the system. But when there is a war, when there are bombs falling on the country, we have to be with our country. For example, the day President Trump said he is going to wipe the civilization. These were big days in major squares in Iran, and not only in Tehran, in several cities. People will pour there, and they will show this feeling or this mood of resilience and defiance at the same time.
President Trump has stepped back in recent days from some of that more threatening language, but after describing the regime's latest response to his peace proposals as totally unacceptable, it's far from clear where the conflict is heading, nor how it will be resolved.
The main news again. Keir Starmer's allies say he's determined to fight on, even as dozens of Labour Party MPs call on him to step aside. US President Donald Trump has warned the ceasefire with Iran is on life support. It comes after Tehran sent its counter-proposal peace plan, something the US leader dismissed as garbage. And US health officials say 18 passengers from a cruise ship linked to the Hantavirus outbreak have now been flown back to the US and placed under monitoring. And that's the latest feature story news. William Denslow reporting.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Hey, do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Now that Monday is out of the way, your mood is free to return to factory settings.
Okay, I guess we're back to factory settings as we are moving forward. Anyway, so let's start talking right away about some things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's just kind of what we do around here as we are hanging out. So let's start talking, because there's a lot of stuff happening inside of the world. There is no doubt about that one. I mean, like, seriously, there is no doubt. So where do we want to start today? Let's start off with this one. Cole Thomas Allen, the man accused of attempting to assassinate President Trump at the White House Correspondent Dinner, has officially entered a not guilty plea. Allen is facing multiple federal charges connected to the alleged attack, and this plea sets the stage for what is expected for a lengthy legal process. His case will now move forward, pre-hearing trials, evidence review, and further court proceedings as prosecutors continue to building their case, and the defense prepares for a response. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. So what do you think there? Makes it pretty interesting, huh? As we are definitely talking, no doubt there. So what else do we have for you? Let's see. Donald Trump slams the NFL for killing the golden goose by moving games to streaming services. The president says the NFL is making too expensive and complicated for fans to watch games, and by spreading them across streaming services like Amazon Prime, Netflix, YouTube, and Peacock. During the interview, Donald Trump said that the league could be killing the golden goose by forcing fans to pay for multiple services just to follow football. Trump said many fans live for Sunday and shouldn't have to spend huge amounts of money just to watch games, while most NFL games are still on regular TV. More of it has shifted to cable and to streaming exclusive platforms in recent years. So there you go. What do you think? Are you ready for this one? I hope you're sitting as I tell you the following. Donald Trump has reportedly told Fox reporters that he's seriously considering making Venezuela America's 51st state. The comments come after U.S. captured Venezuelan leaders Nicolás Maduro earlier this year on a federal charges tied to narcotics and weapons conspiracy. The White House didn't directly confirm the plan, but praised improving relationships between U.S. and Venezuela, especially involving oil production. Trump previously made similar comments, joking about Canada to become the 51st state as well. So what do you think is going to happen here? I'm just asking because I want to have a better understanding of what's going on. Duh. So that's why I'm asking you. So what do you think? Like, seriously, what do you think? A lot of things going on. So there you go. Okay. So let's jump around a little bit because that might be the best thing to do. Do you remember Chris Nanos? Yeah, he's the sheriff that was doing the investigation for the Savannah Guthrie's mom case, Nancy Guthrie. Chris Nano says the investigations are getting closer to solving the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie and the mother of Savannah Guthrie. Nancy has been missing now since January the 31st, and authorities believe that she was abducted from her Tucson home. Surveillance video captured a masked man outside of her house. An investigation later found blood that identified her as hers, along with a mix of DNA evidence still being tested. Sheriff Dano says that the investigation believe that the kidnapping was targeted, but aren't completely certain why. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. What else do we have going on right here? Donald Trump shared new images showing his planned renovation of the Lincoln Memorial Reflection Pool, including a bright American flag blue makeover. Trump says the reflecting pool has been dirty and leaking for years and wants to finish it by the 4th of July for America's 250th birthday celebration. The president recently visited the site, met with the workers, and said that the renovated pool will look even better than it was when it was built back in 1922. Trump also claimed that the project will cost less than the earlier estimates, around $1.5 to $2 million, instead of hundreds of millions of dollars, thanks to contractors he worked with before. Just saying. What else? Jake Paul reveals that his boxing career may be over, as his jaw was shattered by Anthony Joshua. So, Jake Paul is saying that his career could actually be over after getting his jaw shattered in a knockout loss to Anthony Joshua in December. Paul revealed that he's still undergoing scans to see how the jaw is healing and admitted the doctors may ultimately tell him that he can't fight again. Paul says that the injury is improving, but he still is dealing with missing tooth and possible future dental implants after multiple surgeries. The loss dropped his boxing record to 12-2 and raised fresh questions about whether his run in the sport is finished for good. For now, instead of announcing another fight, Jake has been focused on recovery, business projects, and planning his wedding. So there you go. Some stuff going on there. What do you think? Should we talk about this one? Yeah, let's do it. Byron Allen is taking control of BuzzFeed. Yeah, not a joke here. And a deal that would give the Allen family a digital operations at 52% majority stake of the company. Under the new agreement, Allen Family Digital will buy $40 million of BuzzFeed share at $3 a stock, totaling $120 million. The deal includes $20 million in cash and $100 million in promissory note that will be paid over 5 years. If it all closes, expected to end by May, Allen will become the chairman and CEO of BuzzFeed. Current CEO Jonah Prati isn't leaving entirely, though. Instead, BuzzFeed co-founder is moving into a new role as president of BuzzFeed AI, where he'll focus on artificial intelligence and future media technology. Prati said that the company plans on major restructuring under Allen, including cost cuts and the launch of BuzzFeed Studios, which would develop short-form vertical dramas, animations, and digital videos, and feature films. Vertical feature films? Because that'd be interesting. BuzzFeed also owns HuffPost, which was acquired from Verizon Media back in 2021. The company original news division, however, shut down in 2023 during a wave of layoffs, downsizing. Allen made it clear that he sees the future, saying that BuzzFeed now wants to compete with YouTube as a major streaming platform powered by AI creator content and digital video. So what do you think here? I think it will definitely be interesting as we are talking. What do you think overall? I mean, BuzzFeed, when was the last time you went there? Like, seriously think about that for just a moment, because I'm just asking.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so we are still hanging out here talking a little bit about everything. Netflix is being sued by Ken Paxton in a new lawsuit, claims the streaming giant secretly tracked users' viewing habits, including children, while telling customers their personal data was protected. The lawsuit filed in Texas accuses Netflix of collecting detailed information about what people watch and allegedly sharing or selling the data to ad tech companies and data brokers behind the scenes. According to the complaint, Netflix misled subscribers for years by suggesting it wasn't collecting or distributing personal information, and that way, while allegedly making billions off the data. The case is filed in the state court in Collin County and centers on violation of Texas consumer protection laws. So there you go. What do you think? I'm just asking. Yeah, I think everything you do now online is pretty much tracked. And I'm not going to give you a plug right now for a VPN, but I don't think it would hurt you to have one. Just saying. Okay, take a listen to this one real quick. Carrie Lake is headed for a new role after the turbulent stint running the government international broadcasting agency. President Trump has nominated Lake to become the next U.S. ambassador to Jamaica. With a nomination officially sent to the Senate yesterday, Lake, a former Arizona TV anchor, previously ran unsuccessful campaigns for Arizona governor and U.S. Senate before joining the Trump administration as a top official in the U.S. Agency for Global Media, which oversees outlets that include Voice of America. Rather than expand on the agency, Lake carried out on March of 2025 executive order from the president aimed to shrinking the U.S. AGM to the smallest size legally possible. The move triggered mass contractor layoff and placed hundreds of employees on paid administrative leave. This led to multiple lawsuits from former Voice of America staffers, including ex-director, and a federal judge later ruled that Lake had been operating the agency without proper legal authority because she was never formally confirmed as CEO. The court also found that her attempt to aggressively downsize the agency violated federal administrative law, while an appeal court temporarily paused the immediate return of the affected employees. The ruling was still a major legal setback in Lake's effort to overhaul the organization. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse as we are talking. So what do you think about the whole thing? I'm just asking because I want to have a better understanding of your thought process behind it before I get into my weirdness of all the stuff I like to talk about. So there you go. So take a listen to this. A woman in Maryland finally got something useful out of a junk car sitting in her driveway. 50 grand, that is. The woman told officials at Maryland Lottery that her husband refuses to get rid of an old parked car outside of their home. She hated looking at the thing so much that she started staring at the 5-digit license plate and then decided to use those numbers to a pick 5 lottery drawing for more than a year. She kept playing the same number combination, and then a ticket she bought at Artisan Spirits finally hit, winning $50,000. She said the money will go towards spoiling her kids. Despite the odds, she's sticking to with her routine. Her quote, "I just stick to a pick 5 is what it says. That's just the game." So now the rusty old driveway decoration officially has more resale value. Half of the used cars on Facebook Marketplace. So there you go. Here's my thing. If you were not happy about looking at this car, why wouldn't you just go ahead and turn around and fix it up and get rid of the damn thing if you could? I mean, that's just a question. Something to think about for sure as we are talking. So there you go. Okay, what else do we got? A guy in Peoria, Arizona, doing yard work when he suddenly heard a huge splash in the backyard pool and discovered it wasn't a kid, a dog, or a neighbor, a neighbor doing a cannonballs, better saying. It was one of the world's biggest lizards taking a swim. Eric Johnson said the sound was so loud that he thought that something dangerous had landed in the water. Turns out that it was an Asian water monitor identified as a Phoenix Heritology Sanctuary. The species is the second largest lizard on Earth behind the Komodo dragon. These things can grow 4 to 6 feet long, and in some cases, even 10 feet. Basically, if God made a dinosaur, that would be the starter kit. Definitely. This would definitely be the box. Johnson snapped photos while the lizard casually swam around in the pool and later stretched it out in the sun and had hooked like a resort on Expedia is what it was acting like over there. Johnson said that the reptile actually seemed pretty calm and friendly, but he wasn't interested in finding out whether the vibes could suddenly change. Smart move. Every horror movie starts with something saying, he looks harmless. So after about 20 minutes, the lizard wandered off and on its own, especially in the belief that most likely somebody escaped the exotic pet from the zoo or something. Who knows? Anyway, somewhere in Arizona, a guy currently is explaining to his HOA that the missing tiny baby lizard now weighs the size of a golden retriever. So there you go. That is going to be one of those interesting ones to definitely talk about. So here you go. Welcome to Florida. WTF. Welcome to Florida. WTF. A massive dog pool party in Coral Gables just made history because apparently somebody finally asked, what if a daycare pickup, spring break, and absolute chaos all happened at once? Pet supply company Chewy hosted a Chewy Summer Social at Chewy Bark Park inside of the Underline, where 277 dogs showed up to splash around in a kiddie pools together. A Guinness World Record adjudicator was counting the soggy participants, and organizers say that the totals officially set the new world record for the largest dog pool party ever. The event includes treats, games, music, and summer activities, which sounds adorable until you realize also that includes 277 wet dogs immediately shaking the water onto every human within 40-foot radius. No one, or better saying, no word on how many tennis balls were lost in action, but local squirrels are reportedly calling it the longest day of their lives. So there you go. What do you think? Just saying. You want to hear something weird? Let's talk about the weird, because I don't think that other one was weird enough. A woman on TikTok is going viral for cutting open an onion that she brought at Walmart, Canada, and discovering that it looked like science experiment gone horribly wrong. The TikToker uses the onion and looked completely normal on the outside, but when it was sliced into it, the inside was dark red, maroon, mushy, and moldy looking. She was instantly grossed out, saying that she wanted to throw up, and then and joking that there was never to eat an onion again. Ironically, the rest of the onions in the bag were perfectly fine. Especially, he says that the nasty surprise was likely caused by something called bacterial soft rot, where bacteria sneaks into onions through the top of a tiny weak spot in the skin and basically rotted from the inside out. The conditions turn the onion wet and is discolored, which explains why the inside looked like it belonged into a zombie movie. No, I'm not joking as I say that. While outside still looked, grocery store fresh, food experts say that you find one of these, toss it immediately. Check nearby onions and wash your knife and cutting board before using it again. The comment section turned into a full-on support group for traumatized produce shoppers is what I should say. Some blamed Walmart, while others pointed out that no grocery store should be selling onions that look like they lost a fight with a toxic waste. And honestly, onions already make people cry. They didn't need to start dabbling into horror films as we are talking as well. So what do you think here? What do you think? Just asking. Okay, 32 minutes past. What do we do? I think we do it. Let's do it.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, we talk about the main story time, and we kind of go through that whole thing all the time, not just sometime, but that's how it goes. And we like to talk here about what we're deeming important for the episode, for us to have this little slight conversation. And I have to tell you, as of late, the world for me has gotten stranger and stranger as I look into things that I normally would not be looking into. But man, when I start looking into some stuff, I don't know why, but I always have to take deep dives into the strangest aspects of some of the things that I get involved in. And I just don't know why I have this habit where I just can't sit back, keep my mouth shut, and just run. But now, this not my style. So I get involved with things that I probably should have no involvement in, but let me kind of not ponder too much about that. So let's talk about that, how sometimes we get involved with some of the things that we do inside of different segments inside of our organization. And I'm talking about anything that can happen. And I'm talking about anything that, you can do within the organization, especially when you start dealing with some of these larger organizations, where you kind of have like these little silos. And we talk about silos quite often here, so I don't want you to think that this isn't something entirely that we've spoken about before. But sometimes some of these silos have like groups inside of the silos. I know, a group inside of a group. That didn't make it even more interesting there. But it's kind of like you're going down a path. And as you continue to go down the path, you hear more and more information. More and more information, but you have to get to one level to get to the next level to get to the next level. And I can only compare it to some of the other stuff that I've researched when I was younger, where it was almost like tier pricing. And what do I mean when I say that? Well, if you want to level up, you have to pay this. If you want to level up, you have to pay that. It's not because of what you're doing. It's because of what you're paying is how you're leveling up. And sometimes inside of organizations where we're doing things, this is exactly how it works. Have you ever been in an organization that has a union? But let me explain this. Not anything wrong against the union, but the union's optional. Now, bear with me as I say that. It's not a mandatory union. It's a union that's available at the worksite and you can join, but you don't have to. Think about that for a moment. And so as you go down this path, it becomes extremely weird. And let me explain why it becomes weird. Because you're given some information, and some of that information makes sense. Okay, perfectly good stuff. Let's move forward with it. And then, boom, something else is added. Something else is given. Something else is shared, but not a price point. Something that should be done. Something that's talked about, but not fully discussed. And then all of a sudden you start agreeing that you're going to do this. And then once you're fully committed to doing it, there's a price point that's added. And then you start doing something else within that organization, inside of that group, inside of that quote unquote union, and there's another price point included. Now, let's talk about this, and I'm not picking here, but remember that most unions take a percentage of your paycheck. And those are agreed on some terms of the union because they're representing you and taking care of you and all that stuff. So you have to make sure that whatever this union is doing, especially if it's one that it is not quote unquote mandatory, but I guess the mandatory one would apply under this too. But if it's not mandatory, something that you're volunteering to agreeing to do, you have to make sure that it's not something that's going entirely crazy. And when I say entirely crazy, I'm talking about the whole aspect on where you're just kind of hanging out, sitting out and just going, oh yeah, I'm just going to do whatever they tell me. Nobody wants to do that. So at what point do you start bringing up your level of concern about this? And keep in mind that one-sided communication is not communication. That is a flow of information. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong, but it's only going one direction. And if you're going to be involved with something, if you really want to make sure that you get somebody's attention, start messing with their money. Seriously. And I know we talk a little bit about everything here, but I want you to think about that concept for a moment. If you start messing with someone's dinero, you're going to get their involvement level relatively quick on what's going on. And now, here's the weird part, is when we're starting to see these interactions in regards of what exactly is happening, I just don't get on how people expect you to figure everything out on its own. I don't understand how people expect that you're just going to make the determination on what needs to happen. And that is the weird part that I never understand about these things, because at the end of the day, when you start going down this path and you start having these conversations with people and you want to agree on helping out, what are you going to do when they say, hey, we're going to charge you X, but you're already involved with the process? Are you going to back out? Are you going to say no? It just becomes extremely strange. I don't understand on how we're supposed to communicate with people by not communicating. I don't understand how we're supposed to tell things to people if we don't say anything until the very last moment. Because I'm going to tell you, if we're hanging out and I'm giving you all kinds of information about stuff, and all of a sudden we're about to step over a bridge, and I go, oh yeah, by the way, if you step on this bridge, it's going to cost you X thousands of dollars. And I'm telling you that as you're stepping towards the bridge, what are you going to do? Are you going to backpedal out? I mean, think about how terrible of a scenario I just put you in. These are the things that we need to consistently talk about. These are the things that we need to consistently make sure that we're referencing. How are we communicating with the people inside of the workplace? Because listen, I understand groups want to help out and they want to help others in all of that great stuff. But if these things are not being communicated to quote unquote the end user, you're setting them up to fail. And to some extent, You're almost kind of guilt tripping them in, hey, oh yeah, ride or die type of thing. So what do you think? How would you handle these scenarios? How is it handled inside of your workplace if you have one of these optional quote unquote unions? I am just asking because I just want to have a better understanding. At the end of the day, work should be there for you to get the stuff done. It should be somewhere that you also enjoy your time, because nobody wants to go into a work environment where it totally sucks to be there. I'm being dead serious. Nobody wants to do that. And you definitely don't want to feel like you're getting ripped off by quote unquote the people that are representing you.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns, and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to a mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves only on Safety FM.
There you go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. So this right here, the song is called Tempo. Now, this is by Sangarang. Song's readily available on Apple Music, YouTube Music, Spotify, and Pandora. We would like to thank Sangarang for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that. Always a good time when you and I get to hang out. No doubt about that. So there you go. There you go. There you go. So a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into some other things as we are talking, hanging out, doing all the fun stuff we get to do. And let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. Once you get there, all kinds of information readily available for you related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. I'm going to tell you, go over to the website, take a look around. It can change everything for you. Not a joke as I say that. That's just not one of those, oh yeah, change possible for you. Can change everything for you. Not a joke whatsoever. Once you get there, all kinds of information. I'm going to tell you, going to the website will definitely be worth your time. TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. We have an event coming up here in July the 13th to be exact. And what are we doing? Well, we're trying to synthesize. We're calling it Reality Shift. Nick Weatherly, Todd Conklin, and yours truly will be there hanging out, talking about all kinds of information related to behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, and of course, I will be there talking about Signal. And we'll watch some level of a documentary because we're doing this at a movie theater this year. So we can come out, hang out, and do some stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you, we're doing this in a beta format, kind of giving it one of those things that we're taking a look at everything and going, is this going to be worth its while in regards of doing? And after a month's consideration, we decided that, yeah, we're going to move forward with it and go ahead and do everything. So there you go. That's going to be the whole case scenario. So all you have to do to find out more information is go to safetyfm.io or go to safetyfm.com and look at the section that says events. You can scan a little QR code that's on the screen as well, and that will definitely take you places. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world there. So there you go. There you go. There you go. So don't know what else to tell you. Would love to see you there. I think it's going to definitely be an interesting time when it's all said and done. So there you go. Okay, so with that being said, let's continue talking about some other things inside of the world. So let's do this. I do have John Small waiting in the wing. Would love to share the info with you in regards of what is going on. So there it is. There it is in regards of everything that's happening. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's bring some John Small in. Let him tell you about what the hell's going on with the Motivation Minute, and we'll move forward. Let's do that now.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Steve. Indra Nuya said, "Leadership is hard to define, and good leadership even harder. But if you can get people to follow you to the ends of the earth, you are a great leader." I know many people who are natural leaders for this very reason. I bet we could all think of some nationally famous leaders who have this kind of charisma, or whatever you call it. People who lead because people want to follow them. People are drawn to them for some reason. Many times it's because we feel like they're being genuine. You just like what they say and how they say it. Some of these people find a nice place in show business. Some find their home in politics. Others find a nice little home in the media. Now with social media, this is open to everyone with that thing, that charisma or whatever you call it. They say things and people follow them. The Motivation Minute. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Russia and Ukraine exchanged sharp accusations over fresh clashes along their tense front lines on Monday, prolonging a conflict that shows no signs of easing.
Putin hinted during Victory Day events that the Ukrainian war might soon wrap up. Both sides blame the other for violating ceasefires. Fighting continues despite diplomatic pushes from global leaders. Chris Anderson reporting.
Sales of existing U.S. homes stayed flat in April, signaling weak demand in the peak housing season on Monday reports.
Buyers face high prices and rates. Inventory levels hover low nationwide. Experts watch for shifts in mortgage trends. Kevin Sanders reporting.
An international team smashed a major cocaine route from South America to Europe on Monday, seizing tons of drugs in a bold operation.
Europol led the effort across multiple countries. Authorities arrested dozens of key traffickers. The bust disrupts a vital pipeline for illegal narcotics worldwide, Gary Beck reporting.
A federal judge cleared agents to shoot bears from planes to save Alaska caribou herds on Monday, stirring debate over wildlife tactics.
The ruling backs efforts to protect declining populations. Conservationists split on the aerial method. It aims to balance ecosystems in remote areas. Liam White reporting.
Police found 6 bodies inside a cargo train boxcar at a Texas rail yard on Monday, sparking a frantic investigation near the border.
Authorities responded swiftly to the grim discovery. Identities remain unknown for now. Officials hunt leads in this shocking incident. Kyle Norris reporting.
A trade court ruled President Trump's new 10% tariffs on global imports unlawful on Monday, dealing a blow to his economic plans.
The decision came after challenges from business groups. Trump vowed to appeal quickly. Markets reacted with mixed signals as details emerge. Lawrence Keller reporting.
A California couple who had been held by immigration officials was able to reunite with their 18-year-old son just one day before he died of cancer.
Kevin Gonzalez had stage 4 colon cancer and died Sunday in Mexico. His parents were arrested in April while trying to re-enter the U.S. to see him after their request for humanitarian visas was denied. Their release came too late to change the outcome, but it allowed one last family visit. Jim Kender reporting.
Iran rejected U.S. ceasefire terms as unacceptable on Monday, locking peace talks in deadlock amid rising tensions in the region.
President Trump dismissed Tehran's counter-proposal before heading to China. Oil prices spiked as the Strait of Hormuz stays blocked. Global energy markets face severe disruptions from the standoff. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Suspect Cole Allen pleaded not guilty to shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner on Monday, heightening security fears in Washington.
His lawyers moved to remove certain prosecutors from the case. The attack wounded several attendees. Investigators probe possible motives tied to politics. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
gas out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff still going on inside of the world of the multiverses, because that's just kind of how it goes around here. So let's start talking right away about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1792, toilet that flushes itself at irregular intervals is patented. So there you go. Also, 1958, the U.S. performs an atmospheric nuclear test. Yep, 1952. 1963, Bob Dylan walks off the Ed Sullivan Show. Let's see, in 1991, a new cancer drug is announced, which can only be found in bark of rare tree in the Pacific. Hold on, a cancer drug announced, yep, which can only be found in bark of rare trees in the Pacific Northwest. So there you go. There you go. Those are things that happened back on that date. What else do we got? Let's talk about some birthdays going on today, celebrity birthdays, that is. Steve Winwood turned 78. Bruce Boxleitner turned 76. Billy Squier turned 76 as well. Kix Brooks turned 71. Vin Rhymes turned 67. Emilio Estevez turned 64. Vanessa Williams turned 63. Stephen Baldwin turned 60. Kim Fields. Yeah, she's the one that played Tootie, just in case, on The Facts of Life. She turns 57 today. Jason Biggs turns 48. Cheryl Burke turns 42. And Malcolm David Kelly turns 34 today. So there you go. That's some celebrity birthdays going on today. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. Take a listen to this. Texas Roadhouse is bumping up the menu prices again as inflation continues to squeeze the restaurant industry. In Q1 2026 earning reports, the chain revealed that it raised prices by 1.9%, even as business remains strong. Comparable restaurant sales jumped 7.1% year over year. The average location is now pulling in $174,151 per week, up from $163,071 the year before. In other words, customers are still showed up and spending when the cost even of a steak for dinner keeps on climbing. Let's talk about this one real quick. Here are last night's winning Powerball numbers. Jackpot was $57 million. It was 24, 30, 37, 56, 64. Powerball was 7. Power Play was 3. What else do we got? President Trump is reportedly preparing to temporarily cut tariffs to imported beef in efforts to bring down meat prices for consumers. According to the reports, the administration could suspend the annual tariff rate quota system that currently limits how much foreign beef can enter the U.S. before the higher import taxes kick in. Removing the cap would allow more beef imported products to come into the country at lower tariff rates. The move is aimed to easing pressure at grocery prices, especially as beef costs have stayed stubbornly high at the supermarket and restaurants. More imported beef on the market could increase supply and potential cool prices on the meat counter. So there you go. Also, millions of people across parts of Arizona, Texas, and California are being warned to stay indoors as dangerous smog and ozone pollution spread through heavily populated areas. The National Weather Service issued alerts yesterday urging residents to limit outdoors activities and take precautions while air quality conditions remain hazardous. The concern centers around ground level ozone, basically a smog that forms when pollutants react in heat and sunlight. Unlike the ozone layer high with above the earth that protects the people from UV rays. This stuff hangs low to the ground and can seriously irritate your lungs. Health officials warn that exposure can trigger coughing, throat irritation, chest pains, and breathing trouble almost immediately, especially for people with asthma or other respiratory issues. Long-term exposure can also increase the risk of heart and lung problems. So there you go. So that's it. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm exclusively if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here, seriously, with the likes of Sheldon Primus, as he is hanging out here on Safety FM. I will be going over to radiobig.fm and talking about the world of music and entertainment. So the choice is yours, that is for sure, in regards of what you want to do. If I can, of course, I would love to leave you with what? How do we deem this? Do we want to call them words of wisdom? Do we want to do that? Is that really how we see this? So let's do that. Here we go. Discipline will take you places that motivation will never will. And if you need some words of advice for today, put your phone flashlight under the water bottle during a power outage. An instant mini lantern. There you go. Things to think about. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.